this is Dennis, and we're here to learn the basics. And in this class, I'm going to teach you how to stand. And this stand is what we call Wuji. That's spelt W-U-J-I. And in Chinese, Wuji translates as limitless, boundless, or endless. And that meaning, that translation really encompasses the felt sense that we're aiming for when we're in this stand. That we, as individuals, as human beings, are boundless, are limitless. We are at one with everything, with the earth that we stand on, with the sky that surrounds us, and everything else. And in order to stand correctly, this takes practice. This is probably one of the hardest things to teach anyone, but it's really important to get this right. Now, there are several reasons why. One reason for a Qigong side of things is that your joints, all your major joints, are essentially what we translate as energy gates. And a gate can be open or it can be closed. If a gate is closed, then what we're looking to get through the gate is going to be a lot harder. And what we're looking to get through is our blood, the bodily fluids, the oxygen, and our qi all together. So when we stand in this posture, we are essentially standing in a completely unlocked posture. Now, we're not used to doing that. We're not used to doing that because we, more often than not, use our knees as weight-bearing joints. So they're constantly locked up, they get pushed back. It's unconscious to us because we've spent years standing like this, and everything, the whole weight of our body is pushed down into our knees. Well, our knees weren't made as weight-bearing joints. They're there to bend, to move, to walk, to climb stairs, but not there to hold the full body weight. So I'm going to be unteaching you what you've been doing for years, and that's using the knees as your weight-bearing joints. The other really important reason to stand in Wuji is that when we stand in Wuji and we open up this area here, the Qua. Now you can find out what the Qua means in the glossary and the terms that I've used earlier on. There's you can find a video on that on the website. But the Qua essentially is deep in your pelvis, two big main energy gates. Now the Qua is attached to the psoas muscle. Your psoas muscle is attached to your lower spine and your diaphragm. Now, when we are in a locked position, the Qua is closed. When this is closed, the psoas muscle, the deep muscles that hold your spine, your torso and your hips all together, become tight. When this becomes tight, and because they're attached to your diaphragm is the parachute-shaped muscle that breathes. It's our breathing muscle. It does this as we breathe. So when we are standing in a locked position, we are impinging the way we breathe because the diaphragm is not able to move because this is all tense. So the other benefit of standing in Wuji is that this releases internally, and this gives you more room to engage the diaphragm, which means you can breathe deeper and better and get more oxygen flowing around your body. So Wuji is important. How do we stand in Wuji? So when we're standing in Wuji, the feet are hip width apart. And so align your feet underneath your hips. That's the best way to look at it. So you look down, and always double check, have a look down. Don't think that you're doing it. Sometimes we think our body is in the position that actually it's not. So always double check. Your feet are underneath your hips and they're parallel. If you find this parallel position with your feet starts to bring your knees in, that's very common. So if that's uncomfortable for you, and I'm talking really uncomfortable, then turn your feet out a little bit until your knees are a little bit more comfortable. But what your aim is to bring your feet parallel. Now, once your feet are hip width apart and parallel, then we go to the head. And the head, there's a couple of ways we can look at the head. The first way is imagine that you have a sky hook on the crown of your head, and we attach the sky hook to the sky, and it just gently lifts the head up from the crown. A common mistake is for the chin to go up thinking that we're lifting the head up. Well, what we're doing is closing the vertebrae of the neck, the cervical vertebrae, and we're just lifting the chin up. So what we want to do is just lengthen from the crown of the head all the way down the back of the body. The other way to think about the head is as if the head's like a helium balloon and the whole balloon just gently floats up. So that's another way that we can enjoy this standing posture. It isn't a strained position with the head. Please don't try and feel like you're a giraffe trying to push your head up. That's not what we're after. It's just a gentle lengthening of the neck. So now we work down through the neck into the shoulders. So we don't want the shoulders to droop forward. Just let the shoulders open up. So you want to feel the shoulder nest here and here open. Your arms hang down either side of your body. So in the early days of practicing Qigong, have your palms facing behind you and turn your elbows out. This creates space in the armpits. The space in the armpits is important because the shoulder is another main energy gate. When we do this and there's no space, this is closed, and everything we want to flow is going to be impinged by the closed shoulder. By the arms being out to the side, the armpits are open, allowing the flow. So the next thing is the lower back and your buttocks. No clenched buttocks, and relax and release your lower back. So just let them hang, and then let your pelvis hang naturally. Don't tuck it in, and make sure that you're not leaning back as you do this. So if there is somebody at home or wherever you're doing this that can just have a look at you side on to make sure that you're not leaning back and your body is straight and you're going over the center of your feet, perfect. If there isn't anyone at home, stand in front of a mirror and take a side glance and just double check that you aren't leaning backwards. So now we've relaxed the lower back and buttocks, we soften the knees. Now the knees are just a little soft. Don't bend them too much. Just take the knees off lock so the back of the knees are no longer under any tension at all. Now more often than not, the front of the knees start to hold on to the whole body, and you're going to last 30 seconds before they really start to ache. That's not how we do this. We engage the thighs. Now the thighs are from the top of your knee all the way up to your pelvis, the inside, front, sides and the back of your thighs. Use these big muscles here, that's what they're there for. And a really lovely way to think about the thighs is to think of them of buoys, the buoys that float in the sea, the buoys that protect boats, those type of buoys. And if you imagine a buoy in the sea, part of the buoy is underneath the sea, underneath the water, and the upper half of the buoy is just there, and it's just buoyant. And that buoyancy is how you want to feel with your thighs. Feel a buoyancy, feel your thighs doing the work. Now, don't tense the calves, just the thighs are doing the work. They shouldn't be tense, the thighs, just lightly using all around the thigh. And let your body sink down. That doesn't mean collapse, it just lets the weight sink down through your legs, which enables your feet to root into the ground. Okay, so now imagine that you have a spirit level in your belly. And the spirit level works with the bubble in the middle of the liquid, and you try and center that bubble so you have got an even keel. So if you imagine that you're centering the bubble which is right in the center of your belly, to bring your weight evenly over both feet and the front and back of your feet. Excellent. Now, as we stand in Wuji, the head remains up, the feet are rooted. And the last thing that we do is place the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth just behind your top teeth, as if you were saying Lego to yourself. The L of Lego is where you want your tongue to rest. And then we would belly breathe. So I cannot recommend you standing and practicing this way of standing to become your default way of standing. Whenever you are waiting for the bus, waiting to pay for something at a checkout, waiting for the kettle to boil, really consciously practice this way of standing, and before you know it, you will permanently be standing in an off-lock position, allowing the energy-rich, nutrient blood to flow effortlessly through your body. So before I just finish this class, the tongue. Why do we put the tongue on the roof of the mouth? Well, that's an energetic purpose. This is Qigong ultimately. And what we're doing by placing the tip of the tongue to the mouth is we're building an energetic connection inside of your body. And it works with what we call the microcosmic orbit. So essentially your tongue acts as a bridge to allow the qi to flow. And that's something that I will get onto later on in another class. So happy practice. Don't give up on this Wu Qi. It will really stand you in good stead. Excuse the pun. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.